This is Spoilerin Time. Spoilerin Time is a labor of love we do because of Cordkillers. There's a show we do called Cordkillers where we figure out how to watch things, where to watch things, then we watch them. And this week, because of the holiday in the US last week, we are filled to the brim with things to spoil. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
And understand, we don't take this lightly. When we say it's a labor of love, we want to say you're welcome. Much like dessert is a labor of love, or candy is a labor of love. After you've worked very hard to get it, we enjoy it for you.
This week, What We Do in the Shadows, episodes 9 and 10 of season 4. She-Hulk, episodes 3 and 4 of season 1. Star Trek Lower Decks, season 3, episodes 2 and 3. And Rick and Morty's return of season 6, episodes 1 and 2. And for the first two of those, What We Do in the Shadows and She-Hulk, welcome back Nime to the show.
Huzzah!
Thanks for having me so much. Oh, thanks so much. Oh, no, too much. You're too kind. You're too kind.
All right, Tom, where are we starting?
Let's start with What We Do in the Shadows, episodes 9 and 10 of season 4. And man, it looks like we finished up the season, first of all, and we could talk about Colin Robinson's arc. We could talk about the arc of the club, but we really did. We wrapped up storylines in these two episodes.
And they paid off. I mean, it was fairly tantric. I'm not going to lie. Much like raising a child. Now, keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who dropped his daughter off at college. Raising a kid is very labor intensive, and you have to put up with a lot of parts that aren't very fun or funny. Much like watching Colin Robinson grow up this entire season. But by golly, he's back.
Oh, it's fascinating. So I had been meaning to watch What We Do in the Shadows for a long time, and literally in the last week caught up completely I could talk about it. So it was a very much of a it was a different experience, I would guess, to watching it the way you guys did. But it is interesting that where the season 1 and 2 and 3 finales all had a much bigger what's going to happen in the next season. This was a lot more of a reset. Aside from the Guillermo stuff, there was a lot more of a the club, which was there, and obviously the character stuff happened, but the club is now gone, so the house is getting fixed, and Colin Robinson is Colin Robinson again. So a lot more of a reset to more of a status quo that we have seen in the previous seasons back in this one.
What do you think?
Also, I love that the blood sprinklers finally worked and preserved everything in the club except her office.
Yeah.
With all the burned, embezzled money.
The money, yeah. And she didn't remove the money?
Look, clearly, she was not in her right mind. What do you think Guillermo is foreshadowing going into next season?
Oh yeah, so the stinger is Guillermo giving up on ever being turned, giving up on serving the family. He might still decide to be part of the family or not. We don't know, but he goes to his friend at the convenience store who has become a vampire, and it's obvious, why didn't you do this earlier, Guillermo? Just says, Hey man, turn me into a vampire.
I have to imagine that we're going to get a pretty good explanation for why that doesn't just happen all the time. Like some kind of I don't know, I feel like I don't want to. I don't know why. Or, it's a drastic move. It's a going behind Nandor's back, especially when they went out of their way to establish, that all the things Nandor likes includes everything about Guillermo. There's going to be a sense of betrayal, but we're talking about a metaphorical loss of virginity right here.
Yeah. And it sets up the next season quite well, even though we wrapped up everything else, right? It's what is going to be the fallout?
Usually the other seasons did have kind of that. Sorry to talk about it, but
there's always one thing.
There's one thing, and everything else is normal. So this is big things happen, but it's fine. We reset them all, but there's still one big change.
Also, it was fun to see Colin Robinson go through puberty in an episode. And then I liked the sort of Kingsman vault that he discovers following his own clues, and the fact that once he has reacquainted himself with who he has no memory of who he had been growing up.
Yeah,
And it solves that question, right?
Go ahead, Nine.
I'm wondering if he truly has no memory or if some of that is still intrinsic in him, and maybe I don't know. You know, I think we will see more to that part of the storyline in the next season.
I'll tell you what was very apparent and very real that I did not expect was Laszlo's genuine disappointment that all of the effort he put into raising baby Colin Robinson is totally forgotten.
Heartbreaking.
Also, breaking headlines, this opinion coming from a father who just dropped a child off of college.
Overall, I'm intrigued by the Guillermo stinger and had a lot of fun this season, and looking forward to next season. I don't know what else we got.
Well, Bryce, let's play the game of ranking seasons. Where do we put this one?
Ooh, I think it's better than last season.
Oh, by a lot.
By a good country mile.
I think last season may be
the worst.
Well, no, there are no bad.
There is a worst.
The least
There is a
good.
worst. We call that the worst.
Okay, it was the worst. It was the worst. It was the worst.
No, I think it goes season 1, season 2, and then 4, and then 3.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no,
Does that track with y'all?
That sounds totally right.
I might go 2-1-4.
Okay. Season 2 had some strong,
Yeah.
backs.
Jackie Daytona was season 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Very much a welcome presence with Christian Shaw or Christian Shaw, like just being there a lot, and even the crazy Jersey neighbor guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, Mike. Is that Mike?
Yeah,
Yeah. Both of them are. Oh, maybe it's Sean. But both of them have. Yeah, like I didn't like Kristen Shaw's character last season, and I thought she was great this season.
Yes.
Because she's not like being a weird semi-antagonist for some reason. That episode, that Freddy episode, was really, really heavy.
This is the one where Guillermo finds his paramour and Nandor makes his wife into a copy of him.
Makes a copy, and then they run off with each other. And Guillermo and Nandor are both just broken up about it. They hate it. They both know that they caused this. This is both their fault, and they're both left holding this bag of dookie. God, what a good episode. Gosh, what a good episode.
And a fine bottle episode as well. Like, I feel like you could drop in on that and see it.
Oh, Freddy's coming back too.
Freddy's got to come back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Both Freddy's.
I hope so.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom? How do you rank them?
I don't. They're all beautiful in my eyes.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
You do realize you didn't give birth
I did
to
keep
them.
thinking I wish Andrew Heaton was playing Freddy.
Ooh, Andrew Heaton as Freddy.
Tom, there's a lot of things I can handle, but watching Andrew Heaton make out with himself is not one of them.
Ooh.
That wasn't the part I was most
No,
interested in.
but it's inescapable.
It's
Sure.
not. I'm
It's
not
fair for
imagining
you to
anything
point out
great.
that would be a consequence.
Yeah.
It would be like two birds trying to peck at it. Come on, guys.
No.
What show
Why,
am I on? I don't know what show I'm on right now.
Just a little bit of intimacy, please. Sorry. What are we, the show? What are we? The shadows. Yes.
Yeah, that is What We Do in the Shadows, season 4. Let's talk about She-Hulk, episodes 3 and 4, wherein we got a lot more lawyering. Bryce,
Yay!
were you happy with this?
Yes, by a long
And a
shot.
You
lot
got
more
an
Megan
actual
Thee Stallion.
trial for Emil Blonsky.
Yes, I am so in. I have turned the corner. I'm on your bandwagon, Brian. Let's go. She-Hulk.
And then in the episode after that, we got Brian's life.
Yep. Okay.
Johnny Blaze.
I don't think I've experienced this very often, but I'm genuinely confused why not why fewer than 100% of all humans love this as much as I do. And I suppose this is what fandom feels like.
Yeah. Yes.
For
That's
a
it.
niche thing.
Yep.
I loved it when I had a discussion on Twitter. Somebody called it weaponized camp, and I'm like, yes, it is that, you know. And it's like a heist that goes back in time and begins with incepting my affection for She-Hulk at my formative, you know, at the age of 14, you know, like it's surreal how much I love everything about this. And yet I'm just utterly confused that not everybody on the planet loves it as much as me. Oh my God. The whole Wong sitting down to watch The Sopranos, and it's not the abuse of the mystic arts that offends him. It's the fact that he ends up having that episode of The Sopranos spoiled that says,
and as does everyone watching She-Hulk.
You think, yeah.
And then she does it again at the end, which is so good.
Yeah. it's just a nice sitcom. I don't know, like some people don't appreciate sitcoms, especially not in their Marvel, but like that is the thing that I don't know what I've wanted from the MCU for a while, of like, look, we have a nice big universe, let's tell different types of stories. And the She-Hulk comic is a lot like the She-Hulk show. Every iteration of the She-Hulk comic is a lot like the She-Hulk show. It's just a fun, enjoyable show. I felt the same way about Miss Marvel, Brian, that like, why doesn't everybody love this show? This show seems perfect. It's a nice, fun, happy show.
Well, now I've got to
Also,
give that a proper
I love that
try.
we get a trial with the douchey guy over being fooled into thinking he was dating Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh yeah.
And they make a convincing argument of just what a self-absorbed piece of garbage he is, that of course he thought that was really happening.
Did you notice that everyone calls her Megan Thee Stallion except for him? He calls her Megan the Stallion.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that. I did notice, without needing to be told, that the legal representation of the magician was very clearly a magician.
When they're in the court and they're all doing effects, and he does the smoke bomb and he puts a little bird.
Oh yeah. He makes the rabbit appear with the help of the other guy. He goes, I can also make a bird appear. And then flips off. Oh, so
And
good.
then just flips him off.
Honestly, it's funny because my only small quibble with the show is that I feel like there's not enough jokes. Like I feel like I would like it to be a little jokier, like more jokes per minute. Personally, that's the sitcom stuff I like.
This is where I get to play Sage. That was where the comic book overstepped, is they couldn't hold themselves back from gags. Right. So you got a few too many per episode, and I think it limited the success. You get one, maybe two breaks of the fourth wall, and that's it every episode. And
Which is just the right number.
I think the right number of fourth wall breaks. Yeah. I think it's the right number of fourth wall breaks. But I just mean like just within the show jokes and like humor and all that. Like I feel like some of it's trying to like holding back to be like we're still Marvel, don't worry. But I think it's also a thing that a lot of sitcoms have in season one of like, oh, you realize in season 2 and 3 that you can like throw out 5 jokes a minute and you know, can be successful that way. So maybe in future seasons, I'd watch the show for 17 seasons of just like the stupidest trials happening in like season, you know,
they would never make a procedural show. All these Marvel things, and they're never going to make a procedural show.
No, but they will make a Madison show.
Okay,
a show that's just Madison with a Y.
And Wong, Madison and Wong.
Madison and Wong. I would watch that show every week.
I mean, that was kind of fun to be all like...
Bryce just got possessed.
I want to watch Sopranos with Madison and Wong. I want that companion podcast.
They should do a rewatch podcast with Madison and Wong.
In 10 years, they're going to do it when Marvel crumbles because of inflation. That'll be the next thing.
because of inflation.
What did you guys think about the dating stuff? I thought that was fantastic.
Super funny.
I wanted to bring that up because of the the depiction of dating as being horrible, which I don't personally have to deal with anymore. But I can appreciate it. The depiction of the perfect date being the guy who actually wants to listen, is interested in her, and then the fact that he ends up being shallow because when she's not She-Hulk, that's it. That ends it for him.
Right. I guess metaphorically, he sees her without makeup, and all of a sudden he loses interest and runs away like a piece of garbage or whatever.
Yeah.
My favorite moment was she grabs her phone and it says, "You have no new dates," and she's like, "Why is that an alert?"
I'll tell you what, I feel like I get that alert sometimes. I'll be like, what do you? I don't need more notifications from the dating app if it's not a match. What's the point?
That's sneaky.
And
they're just trying to say the same
point
thing.
Phone.
It's so mean.
Don't you want to spend $20 to find your love?
There's a billboard right in front of O'Hare that says 500,000 Muslims in Chicago and you're still single. And I'm like, what? That's so hurtful to me specifically.
Oh my God.
It's a dating app billboard. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't need this from you too.
And then comma Nime.
Yeah,
that's the worst part.
I had affection for the dad and all of his plans for security cameras and poisons and lasers and stuff. What's the shovel for? Nothing. Digging holes. That's it.
What do you think a shovel's for? Man, so much fun. I think Tatya Maslany is a genius, and she is surrounded by an incredible team, very obviously, creating, I think, a special show. And I have no roots in She-Hulk, so I can be the counter to Brian's like, well, maybe it's just because I grew up loving it. I never read it, never have, and enjoy the heck out of this. So I think it's great.
I'll tell you what, I did read some She-Hulk comic, and I was like, this is fine. You know, like I like sitcoms. It was a more recent run of She-Hulk. It wasn't the run that Brian loves, so maybe I'll go back to that run at some point. And but yeah, I definitely very much enjoy the show. I also kind of funny that her name is Tatiana and the villain is Titania.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of a funny coincidence.
Also, really thought we would have seen more Titania at this point.
Yeah.
After 4 episodes.
And also the lawyer character played by Renee Elise Goldsberry, we saw for like literally one shot, I think. I don't know. Maybe it'll be
so
the
far.
back half of the
so
season.
far though. Yeah.
So far, yeah.
I deeply approve of the very brief asides, like a nice blending of the A and B stories. And then that's it. You know, it was
good.
good.
We got the cameo of Wong out of the way. Now you can focus on the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
I need more Wong.
Seems like a weird place to end it. I'm sure there'll be a good tag.
That's a fun tag, yeah.
How do you guys feel about the tags? I don't love the tags. I mean, the scenes themselves are great. I'm really tired of sitting through after credit sequences in my television shows.
The process, it's not special when it's now an assignment on your to-do list versus a fun surprise.
It's a common thing in sitcom. It's just instead of having a mid-credit scene, you would watch commercials and then have a tag. So it's the same kind of thing. I mean, What We Do in the Shadows does it. You know, it's just shorter. A smaller amount of credits before you get to that tag, and they don't do it every episode. And they do it sometimes.
Yeah, and the She-Hulk credits are long. I get that they put a lot of effort into making those really cool illustrations. They're real long. I want to get out of here. I have other stuff to watch.
You can fast forward.
I know. You're just fast forwarding. Yeah.
You kids with your fast forward buttons.
Yeah.
So we all love She-Hulk.
She-Hulk's great.
Yep, that's She-Hulk. Season 1, episodes 3 and 4. We're going to move on and talk about some other shows now. But Naim, those are shows that you have not watched. So we'll say goodbye to you now. But thanks, man, for hanging out with us today. It was awesome.
Absolutely. It was great. I'm very glad that, honestly, I saw the She-Hulk episode and I was like, I need to be on this episode to watch Brian talk about the She-Hulk episode. So I was glad to be here.
If you don't follow Kuhan on TikTok, go do it. Because you're going to get
TikTok.
Kuhan Luke is the TikTok name. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Go follow.
Which is
Great
something
follow.
that Brian called me for 7 years before. I was like, maybe I should make this a username places.
Well done. Anywhere else people should go to follow you?
Twitter.com/Kuhan. I am Kuhan.com. But yes, thank you for shouting
Or
out my
if you
TikTok.
want to like take out a
Tom, I
giant
try to put effort
billboard
into it.
just saying how many singles are in his area, that's fine too.
Yeah. Also, listen, if you know a nice Muslim teacher, I think teachers are the best people. So just throwing that out there. Just
Yeah.
I like other people too, but
Hey, I'm
teachers
looking for a
especially
used
great.
couch. I got about $100 to spend.
Kuhan Luke
Some of these
on
speakers
TikTok.
were about to start emailing and like, oh, I'm just in
I'm an
EMS
assistant.
tech.
If you listen, EMS
Oh,
techs
I'm
are great
just
too. I love all
doctor
people.
of physics. Oh well. Yeah. I don't
Doctor of physics usually teach.
Just
I
research.
teach. I love
I just
all
do
kinds of
research.
people. That was a. I'm just saying.
All right. Thanks, Dime. It was great
Thanks for
talking to you,
having me,
man.
guys. Bye.
Let's move on to Star Trek Lower Decks season 3 episodes 2 and 3. We get a negotiation gone wrong when the engineers get assigned to do diplomacy, and a planet of mind control orbs that reveals everyone's secret fears. And Mariner's is that her girlfriend is too controlling.
Dude, this show's on fire. It's great. I loved the whole tabletop gaming stuff and the fact that they acknowledged like, wow, it seems really crazy that the Klingon leader would put so much into this licensed project. And they're like, no.
And they got the guy to do the voice, right? You could tell immediately. You're like, oh, yep, that's him from Deep Space Nine. Can't
So
miss that
good.
voice.
I like that they clearly had like an AI. It's an AI who is responding to all their things. They're still rolling dice and still moving figures on the board.
Yeah. You got to have that tactical mix, that tactical feel to it.
What did you think about the whole yes man theme with Boimler, where he's like, I'm just going to say yes to everything?
It's a trope. And
Yeah.
I think they did a serviceable job of it. It was enjoyable. I kind of saw where it was going, but it was fun. I didn't mind it.
They did a good job of showing me a bunch of interesting things that these people do. You know, the dirge.
Yeah, that's how they kept it interesting. You're absolutely right. It wasn't typical things. It was fun things. Also, I don't want to rip us off into the second episode, but I loved the idea that the Cerritos crew lower decks people are seen as the cream of the California class crop.
Yeah.
Was that real?
I think it is real, and I thought it was sweet. I think that is. I think they're in junior high, and no, they're not real adults. But you know, hey man, the only reason we're jerks to you is because we heard you're so cool.
Yeah. And how could this crew have gone on so many crazy things and have so many crazy things happen to them without some other boring crew who wouldn't be fun to see a show of be a little jealous of that?
It was one thing where I went back to rewatch it because like, oh, maybe they like use very specific words where like it sounded nastier than they actually meant.
No,
and it was all up.
They were just straight up being seventh grade.
Just there's huge a-holes, which makes me think, which was why I thought it was fake. I thought the reveal would be, oh yeah, that team got separated, and you're all looking at your, your
mirror universe
the psychic
equivalents,
or the psychic egg things, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, these are your new desires. You want to be liked.
I also love that the science crew from the Federation was collaborating on a con to try to
to basically do a keylogger for everybody coming around.
to do data mining on people's brains.
I liked Tendy's part of that story too, of her like trying to push her way in and saving the day.
Mentorship thing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
How do we feel about the emerging, like it was alluded to in the first season, but the emerging sexual tension between Mariner and her new war I don't know,
Girlfriend,
counselor, or Kirk's proxy. What's his name? The guy who's in charge of her.
Ransom.
Ransom.
Ransom. Yeah.
I thought that was great. I mean, that is the not Tendi, but that's the Mariner story we've always gotten, right? Is she defies authority, and then she realizes she needed to not defy authority, and like we've kind of seen that before, but it worked, I guess. I don't know, Tom.
I really hadn't thought about it, to be honest. I just took it as like, oh yeah, they've been doing this tension between Ransom and Mariner, and they're just going to keep that on simmer. I don't know if it's going anywhere or not.
Oh, I don't know if I don't know if they'll have a relationship.
I kind of hope. I mean, I hope there's at least an attempt at a relationship.
One way or the other. And we did set up that Mariner might be having problems with her girlfriend, so that could lead to her rebelling against feeling trapped or locked down or something, and doing something silly or crazy.
And
it's not impossible.
They showed us more of Ransom in that first episode that I thought was good. I feel like Ransom is no longer just like the foil who is on the bridge. Yeah, he is trying
frat bro douchebag or whatever.
Yeah, he's always the bad guy, and now you're seeing him like, oh, he's also like maybe not a experienced manager either. It was cool to see that. I like him not being.
He's got a little bit of a contrarian streak too, right? Where when he risks the negotiations on that planet just to prove a point, right?
Yeah, that's. I was kind of expecting that to all turn out well. I was kind of expecting him to be like, oh yeah, it actually worked. Remember 2 episodes when we told you trust the process, it was actually going to work, and now that. There's a little bit of dissonance with that between these episodes.
Yeah.
For the record, Bryce, like this has been one of the greatest delights in the history of this show is taking somebody who ain't seen no Star Trek nothing and having is seeing this show through your eyes and you approving of it. I that's been really great.
Yeah, it's a good show. I don't know. The only thing I have is like, it's a weird. I don't know, maybe this goes through all the Star Trek stuff, but there's a weird authoritarian element of this, of just like, hey, join the fleet. Hey,
well,
fleet.
It is a military organization, right?
Yeah.
And militaries are authoritarian. So I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's definitely there. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's an interesting like spin on all of this. Good job.
I mean, it is true that they have said they use episodes of Star Trek Next Generation in military training to
Really?
illustrate good leadership. Like they'll take sections of what Picard does and then say, well, see, what he's doing here is the principle of X in leadership, right? So,
oh wow,
so that's definitely there.
That's cool.
I feel like there's probably a 2-hour long YouTube video think piece about this somewhere that I need to watch now.
If not multiples. Yeah.
Yeah.
The CEO Picard.
Anything else on Lower Decks?
No, it's great. Continues to be great.
Yeah.
It's the GOAT.
That is Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 3, Episodes 2 and 3. Let's talk the return of Rick and Morty, Season 6, Episodes 1 and 2. We are back in the world, back in the universe, and we have cleaned up the lore in Episode 1. It was a big job to tell you where everyone came from, put them back there, and then have a reason to reunite them. And then Episode 2 made fun of Die Hard.
So Episode 1 really surprised me because I never expected, whether flatly stated on the surface or implied in the subtext, that they weren't going to, forgive me, crawl up their own butt with the lore stuff, but instead, like this acknowledgement that it's like, no, we have a real big story and a big universe and big unanswered questions, and we can't always be just a procedural, who cares, make up a reason for things. And the answers were very simple, very unambiguous, and very direct. Beth has a clone of herself who went off into space. And favorite line from that episode, Oh, shut up. I'm just you with the patience to do laundry. So good.
That was Summer's burn. Or wait. Oh no, that
was Beth. That was Beth to Space Beth, right?
But it was very. it was interesting seeing Summer clearly like lean towards Space Beth versus Domestic Beth.
Right.
Yeah. Well, because Space Beth is more interesting. Space Beth is more permissive. If I'm Summer, I want the mom who's going to go off half-cocked and do crazy things and not pay as much attention to, my homework as well. Absolutely.
Also, we got flat answers like, no, this is not Rick's original Morty. Rick lost the chance to have an original Morty because that memory that he experienced when he was trapped in the Citadel or whatever, and they wanted to know the secrets to interdimensional travel, whatever that cool Rick was, really did kill Rick's wife, and to the point where, as established now as canon, Rick built a haunting of his own house by his dead wife and so on.
And they also, was he like keeping everyone in that universe alive or keeping people from dying?
Yes.
I kind of I thought that was really interesting, and the way that they set it up was a little oblique. I was watching, it was like, they know, it was so fast and so short that I didn't really understand it too much.
It looked to me that Rick, being in a place unprepared to handle the grief he was experiencing, essentially conspired to just, everybody has to stay where they are. This house is now haunted by my dead wife or whatever, until I figured this out. And he very much still has not figured this out, which is why he goes and adopts the family of the cool Rick who killed his wife. And
just that Morty.
That's that Morty.
Just the Morty. Because the
Jerry's everybody
from
else
another
is from
world.
A different world. Yeah.
The Beth obviously is from a different world. Summer wouldn't have even existed originally and wasn't from Morty's time.
That's right. And then we also got flat answers. What happened to Cronenberg world, where Jerry is like, yeah, they died of these reasons. And anyway, it's just me. And then they also wrapped that up when Cool Rick kills him. It was astonishingly powerful and resetting. And it's what caused me to realize, oh man, there really is consistent lore. They're not jerking me around. All of a sudden, we're playing Game of Thrones rules, where it's like, no, everything makes sense. It's your job to go back and follow everything.
I refuse that job. I approach every Rick and Morty episode like a newborn babe. If I remember something from a previous episode, gravy. I do not want, nor does it sound fun to me, to have to keep track of the lore. So that said, while episode 2, A Mort Well Lived, was more fun for me, I really appreciated Solar Rick's because it reminded me of things. It told me like, look, you haven't really been paying attention, but here's what happened. And let's actually reset to make it simpler so you don't feel as left out. But we're going to make Brian really happy because we're going to give him the opportunity to dig back into those older episodes, and it's going to pay off because he's going to see how we tied everything together. And that is a brilliant knot to tie, to say, look, if you care about the lore, we're giving you a huge gift. If you don't care about the lore, we're giving you an enjoyable, comprehensible episode. And the end result of both of those things is they now have a simpler playground to begin to build new stories on. They have renewed their wellspring instead of being bound by their own previous rules. I think it's a really neat trick.
Well, and on top of that, how wonderful that a show can enter its 6th season,
right,
and then reveal the master to our doctor. You know, the Moriarty to our Sherlock Holmes, our ultimate big bad guy.
And we still have Evil Morty out there. At the end of season
2,
he goes into the yellow portal.
Yep.
I went back and watched
I do feel like they they looked at, I feel like they looked at this and said, well, look, if we're going to do a 6th season, we need to clean some stuff up. And that was that episode. And it was great.
I mean, remember after season 1 or season 2, they ordered 100 episodes. I mean, they've known that they've had a long runway to play with for a long time. And we're seeing the fruits of it. I like the serialized stuff. I think the lore stuff's good. These are both great episodes. The Die Hard episode is just so one joke, and it's great. Just the same joke over and over again.
It's 2 jokes. It's making fun of Die Hard and people who know Die Hard, like myself, and people who don't, and the interaction of that. And it's the joke of everyone is Morty.
Right.
The Roy thing, yeah.
That was great.
I had fun like with that that mind bender of like trying to keep up with remembering that, oh right, everybody's Morty. It's all the same voice even, and it's still you fall into the trap of like, oh right, no, I got to remember that is also Morty. There's only one person here in this world that's not Morty, and it's Roy.
What is the name of the Black Mirror episode that the afterlife is all run on servers?
San something.
Oh, yeah, San Junipero.
Yeah, had strong vibes of that.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
It's great. They're crushing it.
What do you... So almost all of Morty gets out, except for the one little bit of him that seemed to be the most influential and in control. Now she's...
And they imply, right, that he is now more pliable because he says, sure, Rick, whatever you say.
Oh, you just foreshadowed too good, because there's going to be some moment that they're going to recognize that something's missing, and then they're going to have to go back and get the last piece of Morty.
Well, they kept the arcade machine.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's in the warehouse.
That's great.
The warehouse bit was great, too. Like, oh, no, it's all digital. Just put it wherever. It's fine. You know where all this stuff is.
It's not lost. None of this is lost.
That is Rick and Morty seasons 6, episodes 1 and 2. Thanks everybody for your patience in watching all this great stuff and letting us plow through all of it in this week. We are back on the regular schedule now. So next week it will be She-Hulk 105, Rick and Morty 603, and Star Trek Lower Decks 304. Again, you get these episodes earlier if you're a patron, so go and support us if you don't already. Patreon.com/Cordkillers, and we'll spoil you again next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.